Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Luis Sanchez, president and co-founder of M.P.L.A Academy. I'm here with my young business partner, Joshua Saffa. And the purpose of this interview with Joshua is to shed light on his journey, and it impacts, it in turn casts light on the journey of international students. I first met Joshua when I was president of Moorpark College, and he was a young international student from Sierra Leone at the time. And I remember an early conversation with Joshua where I asked about his interest, his field of interest, and he was interested in law. And so I shared with him a copy of a book by Morris Deese, who is one of the founders of the Southern Poverty Law Center, whom I admire and support. And I've known Joshua now for, I don't know, probably 7 years or so. And I've watched him tackle challenge after challenge. Any student who's here under our complicated immigration laws, it's not uncommon to struggle with those immigration processes. And I've seen him grow from a young man into a mature adult, still youthful, still with much of life ahead. But I've been so impressed with his fortitude, his resilience, his optimistic, positive spirit. And so I was thrilled when Joshua was willing to partner with me in the development of the M.P.L.A Academy. In fact, the naming of it is really to Joshua's credit. I had different ideas in mind, but I hadn't really fixated on a particular name. And he said, what about naming it after Justice Thurgood Marshall? And I thought, that's just perfect. And so Joshua and I are getting our first academy off the ground this summer of 2024. It'll be situated at CSU Channel Islands, and it's going to take place during the first week of June of 2024. And we hope you're going to be among the first participants in the Pre-Law Academy. But I want to spend this interview talking about Joshua, his journey, his own goals for the academy. So, Joshua, thank you for joining me this morning for this interview. Thank you for your willingness to be my business partner in this academy. Thank you for just the positive energy that you bring to pretty much everything that you do. And I wonder if you would just walk us through a little bit about your journey from Sierra Leone to Moorpark College and to your future goals.
Thank you, Dr. Sanchez, for that introduction. I really appreciate that. And I've been delighted to work with you in the implementation of M.P.L.A Academy. I think M.P.L.A Academy has a lot to offer to a lot of students, but also to, in a large concept, to society in general, because a lot of the students that we are looking forward to participate with our first academy. These are the people that will be handling very important issues in our societies. With that being said, my journey from Sierra Leone has been a very, very, very long one. And as anyone who is from an immigrant background or has that community around them, do know the various challenges that immigrants face in their communities and in the social context as well. Whereas there's a lot of things that they have to go through, and the laws are very complicated with immigration laws. And you have to navigate all through this and learning a different language, the food, the culture, the people. And so it's a lot of things that you have to juggle together as an immigrant. And sometimes those issues, we see some of them being talked about publicly in the press or in the media, and talk about racial injustices. We talk about economic injustices and things of that nature. These are very real issues that a lot of immigrants, if not all, have to go through. And so I've been delighted to be in America for about 8 to 9 years now. And it's been a challenging one, but a very, very rewarding one as well. The learning process, the growing process, it's all that makes it beautiful.
Take us back to the beginning, if you would. So you are growing up in Sierra Leone. What first planted the idea of wanting to go to the United States to study?
So in the very beginning, I've always wanted to, as a kid, grow up and play soccer professional. And so in Sierra Leone, when I had the opportunity to come to the United States and study, I saw that as a stepping stone. One, in not only having a quality education overseas, since there are a lot of education setbacks where I'm from in Sierra Leone. There's a lot of challenges, varies from the economical aspect of Sierra Leone. The government is not able to fund education as much as they would like to, and the quality of teachers sometimes is inadequate or in short supply, and just the facility and quality education environment as well sometimes is lacking. Things have changed since I've been in the United States. There have been progress within the country, and there's also been setbacks. And in all of that is what drove me to coming to America and studying. And I remember the process till this day. It was a very, very uh, tough one. And as I said before, uh, immigration laws are complicated as they can be, and having to navigate through the learning process, having to have documentations being converted, or the process itself, dealing with the embassy, dealing with the school, and dealing with immigration services as well, and the homeland security. These are all different factors that, as an international student, you have to deal with upon being accepted and coming into America to study. And that's where it started, the drive and the dream and finding purpose in coming to America. And when I came to America, I remember the first college that I sent my application to was the Ventura Community College here in Ventura County. And for some reason, again, going back to immigration laws, there was complications, or they at the time, Ventura Community College had just they've been working on their accreditation to be an international student campus. And for that reason, I had to transfer my application. And actually, you can't transfer your application, you have to start all over again, even though Ventura and Moore Park College, which was the other college that I decided to send my application to. And it was the only campus back then that was within the tri-colleges, community colleges in the county, that was offering international student program. And so I took my chances on the Moore Park College, and I was accepted, and I got my F1 visa the day of. I had to travel and leave the country to be here for orientation.
So then you ended up going to Moore Park College, and of course that's how we met. And I remember your early interest in law. Can you tell us a little bit about your interest in law?
Yeah, absolutely. At my time at Moore College, I started off by studying computer science. I was a computer science major. I was very much interested in computer science and computers and things of that nature, technology. Um, and I remember till this day, uh, I had a dream of of leading people, uh, and I wasn't sure what that was about. And when I do dream, I do take it seriously. And so for about a week, I was trying to figure out what is this about, and um, and the thought was clear that I needed to pursue a political science degree. I didn't know at the time what was political science. At the time, I didn't know um, anything about the subject. You know, it was something that I was not interested in. Never saw myself in any such area, and I took my first class of political science at Moore College. I spoke to a counselor, and it was an opportunity, and I liked the challenges, and I took it on, and I began having just a passion and interest in just governance, the way laws work, and how they affect people, and things of that. And I also start while I'm taking that class, I started having um, this different urge into finding more in-depth understanding of how countries work, how laws affect people. Because I myself uh, was someone who was a victim of not understanding the law and the consequences of thereof. And so I knew it was important. You know, there's a saying that math and English are important, but default to say that law is as important as those two subject areas because uh, if you look at everything that we do in every sense, in every aspect of human life and human being and our interactions with one and other is as a result or connected as well to the law. For instance, you know, we have trespassing laws, right? You can't just show up at somebody's house, you know, uninvited. They're there for a reason. You talk about, you know, going into business, right? You know, you have to sign contracts and things of that nature. And then there's contract law for that. And you talk about, oh, well, I want to hire someone in that business. You know, you talk about employment law. You know, you talk. So there's, you know, countries do interact with one another, and you talk about constitutional law. You know, and you talk about how they relate, and we see what's going on. You know, in the Middle East and things of that nature, and how countries. We talk about international law, right? And so there's all these aspects of the law that is always around us. And I'm one person that I thought it fit that I paid attention and get to know the law as much as I can because it just doesn't give me knowledge about some other area, but it also helps my decision makings as well.
Yes. So, um, so now we have this first academy that we're launching in the summer of 2024. And it took us a while to find the right venue for the right location for it and make sure that the dates work there. But tentatively, at least, it looks like it's going to be at CSU Channel Islands and the first week of June. And it's intended for students who are interested in going to law school, but before they commit, $200,000 in debt and 3 years of their lives. This is an opportunity for students to sort of sample what law school is like. So the intention is to have law school professors come and do lectures like they would do in law school, And students will be exposed to panels of law students so they can hear firsthand what the experience is actually like, and get a little bit of education in terms of the LSAT, and in terms of what to expect at the bar exam eventually in order to be able to practice law. Um, and for eligible students they can be high school students, high school seniors or juniors who are now thinking about law school. They can be community college students that are in their first or second year and thinking about applying to law school. They can actually be university students who are now maybe in their juniors at the university or seniors and thinking about law school, and to give them a sense of what law school is actually going to be like for this 1 week. And you and I have looked at competitor models. There's nothing really quite like what we're offering. There are a few models that start to overlap a little bit. And some law schools themselves will have a summer pre-law kind of experience for their admitted students. But this is not for students who have already been admitted to law school. This is for students who are thinking about law school. What would you say to a student that you talk to, say somebody you run into at one of the community colleges in the area or at a university, about why they should consider coming to the academy, and what your own goals for the academy are?
Right. That's an excellent question, Dr. Sanchez. One of the things that I will say is, as I just described, there's no aspect of our social construct that we don't have to do with some amount of math or English. So it's the law, right? And the goal, I believe, for the academy is, I want to say it's like sowing a legal seed, right? It's like, hey, here's a seed of law, or you're going to germinate that seed into whichever direction you want to take it to. Meaning, if you want to have a orange tree, you sow a orange seed. And so, if you look at our model and some of the areas that we'll be talking about the LSAT, there are different ways to study for the LSAT, but it just comes down to there are fundamental things that you have to be prepared for the LSAT. And so these are some of the things that we will be addressing, and some of the main components of what the whole structure of what law is. And you have, and a lot of our students will be able to have the opportunity to start their own journey. I started my own journey in wanting to go to law school. It's been years now. I've had that drive. Like you mentioned when you made the introduction, it started, with being at Moore Park College as an undergrad, and just wrapping my head about, hey, there's some interest, there are things that I need to know, and how am I going to be able to have an understanding of what the law is? Because sometimes when you don't know something, it can scare you until you get to know it, right? And so that was my experience with the law. Because I heard a lot of people say, well, why do you want to study law? It's hard, it's for only smart people or geniuses and stuff like that. I wasn't a genius. I never would consider myself a genius. But I was able to have an understanding, a fundamental, a foundation, and that foundation is what has helped guide me in my decision making. And whereas I understand certain things that I can say that'll be First Amendment protected or not, and things of that nature. I understand the concept of what's the Second Amendment, right? And what are my own individual rights, right? And in terms of every other aspect, what is my right as a citizen, and what does the law say, and how does that apply to me as an individual, and in the context of my position or my situation. So what I'll say to a lot of students out there, or a lot of people out there, or a lot of folks out there that are interested, uh, in law, or maybe not maybe unsure of pursuing the law. This is what Marshall Pre-Law Academy is. You don't have to pay thousands of dollars and and first have to take the study for the LSAT, and then start that whole journey. You could start your legal journey, your law journey with Marshall Pre-Law Academy, where you could take baby steps in understanding the law. And with that, it will, just like a seed over time, or in few years can germinate into, maybe the next legal mind that we'll have in the nation. Or maybe you could just play a small part in representing someone in court if you're going to practice, law. Maybe you want to work in different aspects, because the law profession, the legal profession, is not just for people that wants to go to court and make arguments and debate all day, right? No, it's not only what we see in Law and Order. There's so many other aspects of the law, and so many other areas and other fields that the law can prepare you for. And I think it's a sound decision in having fundamental understanding, and Marshall Pre-Law Academy is there to guide people and encourage them to pursue the area of law.
I know when I was a law student long ago, we're talking 40 plus years ago, it was very common. And I think it's still fairly common at a lot of law schools. And on your first day of law school, the professors say, well, take a look at the person on your right and on your left, because by the time you finish law school, they will both be gone. And there will be about a third of you that still remain. That's kind of a harsh introduction, but it turns out that some people start law school and then they find they don't like it, or law school doesn't like them. They have their and it doesn't mean that they're not bright or are really gifted in some ways, but law school draws upon a certain particular set of skills and abilities. So I know that if I were say a community college student or a high school student watching this video, thinking about the academy, I would be asking, well, what is it going to cost me? And the fee for the academy for this 1 week experience is $500. And I know for some students that's not small change; that's a significant investment. But it pales in comparison to the $200,000 or so that you'll pay typically in tuition over a 3-year tuition and books, et cetera, over a 3-year period of time, sometimes 4 years if you go to night school and law school. Is there a word of advice or encouragement you could give to students for whom the $500 fee seems cost prohibitive?
I'll say the first thing I'll say is that Marshall Pre-Law Academy is going to be worth it. I understand the economy. I understand the hardships around the country and around the world. It's not only in America, but around the world. And my take on that and my advice would be there are mechanisms that can be put in place. There are building blocks, and one of the things that we've done at Marshall Pre-Law Academy is that we've made plans for those students that this might be a little burdensome. Meaning, we do offer a payment plan for students that cannot pay the whole $500 upfront. And they could do a monthly payment plan if you go on our website, Marshall Pre-Law Academy, and you'll be able to find the payment plan. And if you'd like to reach out to your college or university and see if there are scholarships available to you for something like this, feel free to talk to the individuals on your campus, foundations or even the scholarship or financial aid offices, and see what are the options that you do have as a student on your campus. Relatives and friends and family sponsorships and stuff like that. And I think planning, it all comes down to planning for this. And if students can 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 hone in and say, I'll make a commitment that I'll be part of the M.P.L.A Academy next year. That commitment is the starting point of this journey, and I think we'll get there together.
I know that their space is limited at the academy because it's in person. Some of the lectures from professors might be by Zoom, but most of the experience is in person, and so I know that space is limited, therefore, to the first 30 participants who register. Can I reserve a spot in the academy by signing up for the monthly payments? If I don't have the $500 up front, but I can pay, say, maybe $100 down and $50 a month, something like that, can I reserve a spot for myself that way?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a 4-step. It's a show of commitment that you do want to be part of the academy, and it's a maximum spot of 30 students. And this is as a result. It's our first try. It's our first time, and we want to make sure that every student that will be attending the academy gets what they're paying for. So I'll say do the best that you can to save your spot as soon as possible. And we look forward at M.P.L.A Academy to seeing you there and giving you the tools that you will need to take you along your own journey into understanding of what the law is and how the law works.
Seems like a really good note to end this interview, Joshua. Thank you. Are there any last words you want to share, or is that good?
I look forward to seeing everybody at M.P.L.A. Save your spot.
Excellent. Thank you.